OpenAI has actually been having a handful of outages in the last week. I wonder if this means they're releasing. They got the new Claude model yesterday. I wonder if this means we're getting new GPT. That would be nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually how it goes, right? They reduce capacity to spin something new up.
It is actually how it goes. If they start having a lot of outages, it's just an error. So, what did I say? Oh yeah, this was just a basic one to show there. All right, so we'll just redo this. That was just OpenAI just shit the bed. Nothing special there. So, all right, so animation.
I think the big part is that it did not charge you credits if it failed, right?
Yeah. Any failures, any failures we do not charge credits. We basically wait till we know it has worked before we charge. One thing we're going to be doing in the near future, now that we're in the charging conversation, is for subscribers, we're going to let multi-generations. You can already do it for animations. But as part of that, what you'll notice on the charging is we're going to decrement it at the start. But if it fails, we'll basically refund. And that's mostly to deal with the fact so people can't, queue up 50 things and just have them all go through. Because it charges at the end. All right, so there is a little minor bug. If you're doing multi-generation, the progress bar doesn't work. I'll be fixing that this week. Those are the fun little things you find after the fact.
Or you're comfortable enough to ship with to get something cool out for everyone.
Yeah, you can just see the attack animations aren't amazing. But this does showcase the compositing of the sword and the character. So this is how you would composite items now. And this is where I think attacks are what I prototyped in C-Dance, and attacks worked very, very well. It's the compositing of items into your animations. It's like a really exciting thing. And this is why like cutscenes and things are going to be interesting because you can select as, all your characters and whatnot. And so we'll actually do this one. I'm debating providing guidance to remove all particle effects from these two, just because they don't clean up super nice. And particle effects really, you want particle effects to be like super specialized, which for cleaning from backgrounds and looking good in your game. Actually, this one's not terrible, but one thing I'll say is since it's on a green screen, this will have a green tint. So like this particle effect is actually a good particle effect, but what we should have done is not used a green background, and the AI decides the background. So I have a note to like go in and try to get better particle effects. And then this freeze frame is actually a really good example because you can see there's still AI artifacting. So this is where as the video models get better, we believe this process will be really good as the video models get better, but also this won't be super noticeable in a game. Actually, let's just extract this so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's save it. So in the old, this is a good segue into the old process. There was this like extract frames. It was super confusing. There was a separate edit screen nobody knew existed. So now when you save it, so what it's doing right now is it's cleaning the background image. It's extracting individual frames, cleaning the background images, and then getting ready to actually use this. So now this screen is completely new. It's entirely different. Well, it's not entirely different, but it's the edit widgets are the same, but now you can dynamically resize to whatever you want. This would actually be a really big game sprite, but you can, preview. Actually, the slash cleaned up pretty nice. You do have the green, but it's like
a power.
You could play with that. If you wanted white power-ups on a green screen, the green coming through. But this is what I was talking about. Any particle effects are with this workflow are going to keep some of the background color in them. So essentially how it works is we green screen it if it's green or blue or red backgrounds. If it's any other background color, we use AI to clean it up. The AI is very hit or miss on quality. So my recommendation is try to get it. If you want to, you can always tell the prompt to use a different background color and it should use it. But like on this one, you wouldn't be able to use a white background because it's literally white. And if you used like a gray background, the white may be like darker than you want. So you might want, well, you can't use blue because she's blue. So red might work. I don't know. This is the problem with particle effects is like really what we want is a non-transparent particle effect. And that's probably what I'll work on next is, but this actually, if you could just say you want all her moves to have a green tint and do white particle effects, right? So like, and in that way, it's actually not too bad. And so, so for this move, if we wanted to do this, you would want to either speed it up or you'd probably want to cut it out to where it's just the slice. Yeah, so there you go. So like an animation that, you know, thought wasn't very good, just a couple edits, and that's actually game ready right there, because you're also not doing it this big, right? And then if you're going to like Godot or something, the speed in here doesn't matter, but definitely want it faster than.
Yeah, I think that's a really good example of like how maybe the first generation is most likely not going to be like a game ready animation, and going in here editing is going to be required for a bit. Like I don't know if AI models will get better at that or not, but I mean this is what professionals do anyways, is edit
yeah
first.
So actually this is really close to professional workflows right now. So professional workflows, basically all your big game studios are using AI for everything, and they're lying to your face. They have their own tools, they have their own workflows. The difference is they have artists. So what would happen, actually, let's go back to our particle effects here. So like, if you go look at a lot of these frames are super clean and ready to go. So why would an artist ever just redraw all of this? Now, what an artist would want to do is like the slashing animation, there's green. So they might come in and repaint the slashing animation, but the slash animation is actually really good. So why would they just throw it all away? Now it's just a simple tracing of the particle effect, and then the sword needs cleaned up and her hand needs cleaned up. So you come in and you clean up the frame versus generating it all from scratch. And even just getting like, you know, the character clean in all of this is like a huge time saver. And even just essentially having the outline of the hand. So now all you got to do is come redraw over that. And for an experienced artist, that's super easy and super quick, and not every frame, like this frame needs even more touched up, right? So an artist may come through and look frame by frame by frame and do this. So the idea that you just have to do some quick edits is really not a huge issue. And also, so the way, okay, so I'll get back to baking here. So the way this works now is it's going to bake at whatever you're viewing at, right? So, and this is the other thing, is once you get it to game size, that maybe is a little small, like this is actually what your game looks like. So all those frame issues, like I actually think outside the green on the particle effect, this is an asset that's ready to drop in a game. Like if you're running around in a game and this is your attack animation or one of your attack animations, like no one is going to be actually this frame right here. No one's going to, unless they're experts at finding AI, they're really not going to know it's an AI asset. However, there's just a little bit of touch up, cleaning it up a little bit. This is why I say start at 1080p on your videos. The higher resolution the videos are, the better they're going to shrink down, because there's going to be less artifacting, and then when you shrink it down, there's even less. So anyways, you can see here now, so this is like sword slice. Now we just bake the sprite sheet and it's essentially ready to go. So now if we were using Godot, we could just drop this into Godot and we'd be good, right? And actually,
we'll demo later today.
So actually, and when you're looking at these, it's not a huge deal, but these frames here are like, essentially the same frame. So there's actually no reason we could clean this up even more. Let's go ahead and delete that. And so, okay, so her cape is moving but for an attack animation, you really don't need that. So we can probably get rid of these frames. And actually, this frame is dirty. That first slash is dirty, so we can actually delete that too. The only thing from the original set that might have been good is like intermediate frame like this. It doesn't matter too much, but actually I'm going to delete this because it's a messy frame. And that one's a pretty clean frame, so we're just going to delete that. So now you can see, there we go. Like, look how clean that is. That's so good. Okay.
Is there a way that you could undo one of your frame deletions if you don't think?
No, there's not an undo move. That's pretty complicated. So what you can do is you can reset. You can reset these. I'm not going to do it. Well, I'll bake it first because I actually like this. Sword slice attack. So now here's actually what's real interesting. So you clean it up. It's like super ready to go. And your sprite sheet is tiny, right? So now your sprite sheet's super tiny. And that's actually the goal here. Because when you get all this into your game, you actually don't want 100 frames per attack animation. And now if you were running around and just went to that attack, like in a game, nobody is ever going to know they're not going to know it's AI generated, and they're not going to know that like it originally was 4 seconds and all these different things. And so this is kind of the goal. The goal, we talked about, like, it takes a little bit of learning. So just showed you all that. It definitely was not ready to go out of the box. Like some things like runs and stuff, more basic animations are ready to go out of the box. But just with just a little bit of effort, and this was while talking through it, it took like 20 minutes to get a super clean animation. So, and if you were to go use essentially any other tool, I always say you have essentially two things: time or money. So what you could do also is you could generate this 20 times and spend a bunch of money to generate it 20 times, and one of them will probably be good. Or you can just take 10, 15 minutes of your own time to clean it up. And I always think human touch is going to be better than just straight AI. But notice what this did not take was it did not take drawing capability, and it didn't really take any technical skill other than just going, oh, I need a starting frame. The only thing I really did here is like, oh, I need a starting frame that goes into the animation, and then I need to end in that starting frame, essentially, right? So like I just needed to make sure it was looped correctly. And the one thing is, when your animations are sped up and in-game animations, you don't need near as many keyframes. I left the keyframes in for the particle effects because that's kind of the thing you want to draw your eye to. But notice we only have 10 frames. We have 10 frames and it's at 2.5 speed. You really don't need a lot of frames. We've played around with the idea of actually generating frame by frame by frame by frame. The problem is for anything outside of specially trained models for very specific use cases, generating 10 frames is actually dramatically more expensive than just a video. So that's like where we fight as a product, because I do actually think you could take like GPT Image 2 or Nano Banana, and if you generated each one of these frames, you could get better results, I think, than the video, but it would also be, 300 credits versus 20 credits, and it would take 10 minutes to generate versus, whatnot, versus like a minute. And so some of our competitors, they're hyper specialized in pixel art. And so what they do is they kind of do this process frame by frame, and then they expect you to clean the frames themselves up, which is also a fine process. I think for pixel art, it works really well because pixel art's super easy to clean up. Because if there's just some artifacting on the pixels, like, oh, great, I take a delete tool and delete the pixels. Clearly we're trying to hit designs other than just that. Personally, I love anime. That's why I'm using anime or vector art. I like vector art a lot too. So like, but this just kind of shows, once again, you don't get it for free. You're not getting it in 5 minutes for your entire game, but this shows how you just come in and provide some effort. Imagine you had 25 animations like this. You literally are going to have a game that looks just as good as anything else any other indie is releasing. Still not going to compete with AAA, but AAA, you got armies of people that are trained professionals, and trained professionals are still really good at what they do, right? Like